Hi, I'm Mike Huxley and this is the Bemused Backpacker channel. Make sure you stay tuned because in this episode I'm going to give you a ton of tried and tested expert tips for solo travellers so that you can make the most of your solo adventure around the world. Solo travel is an amazing adventure and has a wealth of experiences and opportunities for those with the courage and the adventurous spirit to take it up. Taking a solo gap year can in fact be an almost spiritual experience, but it's not without its challenges either. I get emails and messages every single day from people worried about travelling alone. Some of them have had a friend or partner suddenly pull out and are finding themselves with the prospect of being on their own. Some are actually planning a solo trip but are worried about little things like going out at night or feeling weird about eating alone. Don't worry. For those of you who've taken that awesome step of venturing out on your own but are still a bit worried about the logistics of solo travel, especially if it's their first trip, then don't be. It's really not as difficult or as scary as you think it is. These expert tips will take the worry out of taking a solo gap year and give you all the tools and information you need to travel the world solo and on your own terms. So the first tip, as always, is to give yourself time to acclimatise. And to be fair, I say this to all travellers as well. When you first arrive in a new country, you'll be tired, disorientated, and you'll probably get hit by a good dose of culture shock too. Don't worry, this will all pass, but the last thing you want is for all of this to overwhelm you. Just pre-book a nice private room for the first few days and give yourself time to get used to your new situation and your new surroundings. The next tip is just remember that whatever you're feeling is perfectly normal. There will be times when you feel a bit lonely. You'll feel maybe a bit homesick. This is all completely natural and everyone feels this way from time to time. It's fine, it's called being human. One of the ways to deal with this is schedule regular times where you can call home and speak to your parents or friends. Skype or FaceTime them regularly. Just be mindful not to disturb anyone if you're in a dorm room. And of course there's always social media as well. Just don't fall into the trap of using it too much and spending your entire trip on Facebook. You'll find that as time goes on and you get used to travelling alone, you'll probably want to do this less and less, and that's a good thing. Just remember that the option is always there, and technology has made it so much easier to reach out and talk to people back home whenever you feel a bit lonely or isolated. And once you've taken a few days to settle in, staying in hostels is always a really good idea. They will be full of other backpackers and a good number of them will probably be solo travellers as well. So they really are a good place to meet other people and new friends, and maybe join up with another traveller for a day or two to go on that awesome jungle trek with. I've met a lot of good friends this way, and some you may never see again after that few days you spend together. Others you might stay friends with for a long time. It's just how it goes. But either way, they are really good places to meet new people and new friends. And the next big tip, if you don't manage to make any new friends or meet anyone in the hostel, is to join an organised tour or activity. There are tons of independent tour operators or hostels offering group trips to whatever is big in that area. Jungle treks, diving, snorkeling trips, whatever. And yes, there is nothing wrong with taking one of those tours if you're travelling independently or backpacking either. They are all part of the experience. And the best thing is a lot of them will be small groups of backpackers and solo travellers that you can easily meet and make friends with. So if you're finding it hard to say hello or you're feeling a bit shy and need some company, they are a great way to meet new people. Now remember, just because you're travelling solo, there is nothing wrong with being alone, and you don't have to go and try and meet new friends all the time either. You have to learn to enjoy your own company too. And this is the next big tip. There is nothing at all wrong with spending time alone, and there is a huge difference between being alone and being lonely. And one big thing that solo travel will teach you is who you really are. Not who you think you are, not who you are when other people are around, but who you are when you're alone. And it'll teach you how to figure that person out and how to feel comfortable in your own skin. That's one of the best things about solo travel. You can be completely selfish and do what you want when you want. So all those times when you might be worried about eating alone, spending time on your own, embrace them. But when you're on your own, there are a few things that you can do to limit any worries about being alone as well. Getting a hobby or having a purpose to your travels is an awesome way to do that. If you've got a mission to your travels, whether it's to visit every UNESCO site in the area, learning a new skill, taking a cooking class, learning each country's martial arts, whatever you're into, it can give you trips on purpose, and that, when you're on your own, can mean a lot. A lot of travellers use the time to maybe do some writing or start a blog or even catch up on reading, whatever you're into. And eating alone isn't all that bad either. It's a great time to sit back and people watch and get used to the culture, or even catch up with a good book. And I recommend this one. It's awesome. Nothing wrong with a bit of self-promotion. The link's down below. And a lot of travellers use the time to write as well. Sitting at a table alone is a great time to get out your notebook and make a few notes. And yes, I do still use a pad and pen. I'm very old school. Shut up. But at the same time, as much as a good book or a hobby like writing are good things, don't let them be everything you do either. They are a good escape, but make sure that you don't allow it to swallow you up. Take in your surroundings, enjoy the place that you're in as well, because that's what you're there for. Be content to be by yourself, but be sociable as well. And the last tip I'll give you for solo travel is learn a bit of the local language. Now, this is always a good idea anyway, and it shows a lot of respect to the culture you're visiting as well, and it could be a really good icebreaker and help you meet and interact with locals. And if you learn anything, learn how to say no thank you in the local language as well. It'll really help dealing with those touts who are more likely to think you're an expat if you speak just a touch of the language. Remember, solo travel is still an awesome way to see the world, and I will always be a huge advocate for it. It is a little bit scary at first. It will push you out of your comfort zone a bit, but that isn't always a bad thing. Hopefully these tips will help you overcome some of those fears and worries and show you just how awesome solo travel really is. So that's it guys, thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't already, please hit those thumbs up and subscribe buttons, and if you like what you see and want to support the channel, check out all the good stuff on the website as well, and come and join in the conversation on social media too. Links as always are in the description down below. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you next week.